guess what you're in right now? I got you in the Jimmy. We're gonna take you for a little ride in the Yimmy. Gotta get some more miles on this thing. And I need cat food. The beasties are running out of grub. Wipers. Love it, I love it, I love it, I love it. Turn Travis Tritt down on the radio. Alrighty, we got voltage, we got lots of oil pressure, temperature isn't there yet. Well, we need to go down and get some fuel for this thing too. A little quarter tank. I was scratching an itch inside my ear canal the other day and caught a chunk of skin. I'm still pulling out. Not that you guys need to know that, I'm still pulling out bloody stuff. We got 170,572, so I need 327 miles. I haven't driven this thing quite as I thought it was closer to 200 miles on this thing, but I need to be up to 17900. That'll be my 500 mile mark. Warm up for a second. Little puppy dog. This one being fuel injected, it doesn't idle down when you hit the throttle like the carbureted versions. But that's why we drive them. Parking brake off. D for drive, actually overdrive, which wasn't working before, as you'll be seeing here shortly. Let's go straight. Turn the heat up a little bit here, throw the defrost lever over. Sir, she's a runner and a driver. We'll have to get some exterior shots of that exhaust. But I think we're in third gear now. Either that or the torque converter locked up. I don't know. Does it only lock up in overdrive, or did we just shift into third gear? Yeah, we're going to pop down into Snohomish, get some good ethanol-free stuff for this truck. Drove this thing yesterday, put 50, 60 miles on it. Well, it's laid on the road there. Nice branch, nice board. And the service engine soon light came on. So I don't know, it's a little bit old gas, it was running fine. This good old ethanol that's been in there for a couple of months now. So let's go put some regular ethanol free in there. It'll cool up. Can't see around this guy, but there's a car coming. Sounds good though. A little noisier than I would like it, but I'll get used to it. Past this guy. And we'll just park out here in the back, because that's how I roll. Alrighty, we'll run in, grab some kitty chow, and we'll be back to continue this run. Woohoo! It was $96 for 2 weeks worth of cat food. go see if we can dump $100 in fuel in this thing. Wonder if our light's on for safety. Intermittent on the wipers. R for race. Make sure the parking brake lever goes all the way up. Ease out of our parking stall here. And make our way down to Snohomish. It's the transmission shop that we was just staring at as we were pulling out of the parking lot there that this thing went to. Oh, I was going to do a little side video, I forgot. That's okay, maybe I'll just pull into the parking lot here and do that. You guys won't see this video for a week or so, but I want to do a video to upload today, so you will have seen that video a week or two ago. So I've got a separate camera in here to do that. I'm just going to do that in the parking lot there, but I think we'll just try to think of someplace good along the way here, but I think we'll just hit the Ace parking lot. Hopefully the music's not getting picked up by the microphone there. I don't know how to turn it off. And we got temperature starting to show. Still got good oil pressure. It's pegged right now, but it usually drops once it gets some heat built up. Cross has got the red. Turn goes green. We'll be getting the green here next. That throttle. This throttle cable's pretty stiff right off idle. So I'm going to pop in here, shut you guys off for a second. Do this other little video. And then carry on from there. So bring you guys back in a flash. Alrighty, just finished. I use that term a lot, don't already. Just finished the little video introduction for all the build videos coming out. Watch this guy with the backup lights here. I'll try to scoot up. Traffic. Good thing this thing turns nice and sharp. Mr. Dow's gonna do here. Going that way. So let's hang a left out of here. Got a dude on the sidewalk, but we can scoot around him before he crosses. Don't hit the Mini. Yesterday just felt good to be driving this thing. A little bit of a surging, like right now I can feel it. But I don't know if that's something in the transmission, torque converter. Get a ping in there so I'll get some mid-grade fuel in this thing. With the heads and the cam, if she just wants a little bit better fuel, but ping and her little knock in there to give her some RPM, it's better. Definitely drives different than the 84 though. Softer springs, shorter wheelbase. Need to figure out the fan because I'm fogging up the windows here a little bit. Just throw one of those capacitors, resistors on order for the fan switch. I think they were $20. This is a new fan switch. I broke the little chrome nubbin off the end. I kept tearing the dashboard apart, caught it with the bezel and snapped it off, so I ordered up a whole new switch assembly, which is a couple of bucks. Bolts right onto the side of the climate control unit there. So the switch is probably fine. It's probably all in the resistor. Floored this thing yet. I'm still breaking it in. Just every once in a while, give her a little bit of juice to vary those RPMs, vary the load. Get some RPM built into it. Up to 57 miles an hour. These hinges are shot on this driver's door, so we get a lot of wind noise coming around this door seal. I don't know if the camera's picking that up or not, but drives really nice. At higher speeds, 65, 70, it's got a little bit of a shimmy. I think it's from the drive line. But it could have been the road, because these are pretty stiff tires. It could have just been the variations in the concrete road I was on. It almost feels, I'm feeling the same thing now, but it's not consistent. It's not rhythmic, you know, whoop, 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 whoop. It's just kind of a bop, 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 as you're hitting the irregularities on the road surface. These aren't E-range tires. I don't know what, I think they're C-range. Just half-ton tires, so. But they are the BFG all-terrain, so they're a little bit of a heavier duty all-terrain type fire. That's that rear brake. Still dragging. Great. Really glazing the inside of that drum. Maybe we won't be going for a super long drive today. This thing, I don't believe the backing plates on the rear end have the little slots in them to get in there and adjust the adjuster. Remember, right, they're sealed up. About that parking brake, that cable, it should be fully released. So the cable's to adjust the tightness of the parking brake to spread the shoes out more. So I don't think the parking brake's hanging up. It's going to be something with the drums themselves. Snohomish. Get to go around the roundabout. Square body in the parking ride. Like a little half-ton GMC two-tone. So this is a full-on business day, 2nd of January, so there's going to be a bit of traffic out. Not everybody's like me and took the time off of work. It's the Escalade. Not putting Arco gas in this thing. 305 for unleaded. 345 for premium. We'll probably be up around $4 a gallon. Surging might be the low octane fuel too. Maybe we should just put high test in this thing and back it down from there if we so decide. We'll put mid-grade in just to see. Brakes feel real nice on this truck. Somebody mentioned with the brake hanging up if that would be my pulling issue. I don't know if a rear brake hanging up a little bit would cause the front end to pull. I can see it wanting to pull that side of the truck, but if it's not on the steer axle, it's not going to be wanting to turn the wheels. I don't know, we'll have to just pop it off. There's lots of fine tuning that needs to be done. runs and drives, goes down the road pretty good. Other than the crappy paint, looks pretty good. Sounds good. Get this fan figured out. Volvo wagon. Ride's halfway decent. I think I got the tires all sitting at about 35. PSI. I don't know how many bar that would be for you metric folk. Crack a window over there just to help a little airflow. Couple little squeaks, little rattles, nothing too major though. One of these blew a little bit more than the other. It's the second to low setting on the fan is my highest airflow, and it's not quite doing it. Fogging up a little in here. But we got heat. $3.49 for regular at the Shell station. A nice big car show in this town, late summer, early fall. Been to it a few times, didn't go last year. Kevin and I talked about hitting car shows last year, but never did. Seem to be always wrenching on this thing and dealing with misfitting parts or wrong parts or getting the ball joints and the U-joints pressed. And I will say though, that cheap Harbor Freight press is more than earned its keep in my book. Kevin knocks it every time we use it, but it has saved us some heartache. Is this the one I want? No, next one. This other window down here too, get a little cross ventilation going in. So it could crack the back window. As long as I remember to put it back up. Yeah, it's not that one. I think you can see the co-op through, yeah, Lincoln. That's... Oh, it's the filler on this thing. I can't remember. Passenger side, I believe. I don't see it on the driver's side in the rear view, so. Diesel's shut down. Alrighty, let's go fuel this beastie up. Holy. You ready for this? It's a $92 bill. But we got a full tank of fuel. Oh, come on, seatbelt's not wanting to latch in. There we go. $92 for just over 20 gallons. This place is a little pricey, but if it makes the truck run better. And to be honest with you, it's not a daily driver, so oh yeah, rough road. Yeah, they didn't have mid-grade. They only had the cheap stuff or premium. And I didn't want to put the cheap stuff in, and I thought, let's step it up and see if we can get rid of the knocking and the surging and whatnot. But yeah, it was $4. You sitting down for this? $4.49 a gallon. $4.49 for a gallon of premium at the co-op. I think this is the road that I want. I'm just gonna go run through the old part of town. Nice Dodge Dually there. Looks like it's got the V10 in it. Regular cab, two-wheel drive, white on gray two-tone, or gray on white two-tone. So it'll take a minute or two to get the good gas running through the system here, so. Narrow road. Watch for pedestrians. Kind of the artsy-fartsy area of the county and the town here, so lots of people and Screech was, I think, my right rear dragging on the painted crosswalk. That's busy down here for a Thursday. First, people are still probably on vacation. Family in town and wanting to get out of the house. Year-end sales. We're not looking for a parking spot. Yeah, that brake is making a little noise, but we're gonna drive it. So worst that could happen, we have to put a new drum on it. And then it was, you could smell the hot brakes, but it wasn't on fire after yesterday's drive, so I just want to drive this truck. 70s GMC square body, 3/4 ton. Highway 2. Back the way we came into town here. Think I may have some other adjusters from other kits. So we went through a couple of brake kits on this truck. I had some leftovers from the blue truck, which mixed and matched the hardware kit on that truck because we couldn't get the right stuff and couldn't figure out what the drums were off of and the shoes. Yeah, I don't think the pulling issue that I'm feeling that I mentioned the other day is from the rear brakes, because when you hit the brakes, it doesn't pull anymore. Although, probably wouldn't, because you're activating the other brakes then. I haven't noticed that surging either, so it may have been just some low-octane fuel that the truck was not happy with. She wants the good stuff. Oh, there it is. It's still there. Nice to have working wipers. RC entrances, we don't want that. Highway 2 is up ahead here. Up the road a few miles, a little higher RPM underneath her. Merging, and we're clear, blinker on, semi-dump truck behind us, 100 yards or so. The frequency upon which the wipage occurs to help keep the windshield clear. Yeah, but we're not bouncing all over the place on these this patchwork road here. It's soaking up the bumps pretty nice, actually. You feel them, but I mean, it's not jarring. It's nothing like the 84. No, we put together a good truck. I do not regret selling the blue truck and replacing it with this. I think overall this is just a much better base to start with. That blue truck, as nice as it was, all the city miles that thing had on it, it needed a good going through. Last I heard, the guy that finally wound up with it, who I know, I've worked with him in the past, I haven't seen him for a while, but he's very happy with it. Plans to put it on big old tires and lift it and all that stuff, but I should probably reach out to him, because we talked about just getting the two trucks together again. A bit of a reunion, if you will. Yeah, the guy I sold it to kept it for about a year, maybe not quite a year, and then he got a girlfriend who was into Jeeps, so he wound up selling the Jimmy to the new guy. Basically, they traded the Jimmy for I think it's a Jeep Cherokee, if I remember the story right, and then a little cash for the Jeep as well. I'm glad I went with this truck. And this one has a radio.
about I-5, right at Alderwood Mall, a semi-green car.
Well, the traffic report, but not for the road we're on. Bump. Kevin and I did a good job on this truck. Motor doesn't leak. Doesn't seem to be burning oil. Should probably jump online and order up the new oil for this thing. Somebody commented about the Fram filters I got underneath this thing right now. Those are just the break-in filters. Actually had this is the second set of Fram filters that this truck is on. The first set I swapped out after the cam break-in. We didn't change the oil. And yeah, I know Frams aren't the best, but it's better than nothing, and I didn't want to go through really expensive filters. You watch a lot of these guys online that, you know, get these rigs that have been sitting for years. Throw some cheap oil in it and a cheap filter just to get the thing up and running, and then get home and then they can tune it and put the good stuff on. No, I like this truck. It drives good. Go through Monroe and hit the next town. Is that Sultan up there? Then we'll turn around and start cruising back. That should get us up over the 170,600 mile range. Coming up in this town. If you can see over there on the left, the big white building, Evergreen State Fairgrounds, that should be towards the end of this month. I think we're gonna go this year. It'll be the same stuff that it always is, but I don't know if I ever put the video up of last year's, or the last time I went. I don't think I ever did. It's neat stuff, but I went, I think, 3 years in a row, and it was just the same layouts and the same thing. And I understand you don't want to tear your expensive, fancy train layout down every year and rebuild it, but I can go every couple of years. I still haven't done the fluids and the differentials yet. Get that stuff swapped out. I guess the only two big fluid changes we need. Washington. Hit that chuck hole there in the front end, didn't hobble around at all. Meyer, Big Five, Sporting Goods, Denny's, Rite Aid, AutoZone, Mattress Firm. The place got everything. I want to grab that plastic A-pillar cover on the right side of the windshield there. The one that's in the truck has got a big old crack. Every time I look over at the mirror, I see that crack. So let's see if we can find one at a junkyard one of these days. I got the titanium gray interior paint, so it doesn't matter what color I get it, I can recover it, repaint it. Yeah, this thing runs glass smooth. There's no shimmy out of that motor at all. I can feel it running, but it's not shaking the truck. It's just, I don't want to call it a vibration, it's just a very minor sensation that the motor is underneath the hood. This is a good running truck. Hopefully I'm not jinxing anything. Schwab Tires, they just announced that it's a family-owned business. The founder passed away a few years ago, and they're gonna sell. Looking for a buyer. So if anybody needs a chain of tire stores in the Pacific Northwest, if you just happen to buy one and you're watching this video, just, remember me, Your buddy Brian told you about it. Discounts, maybe? Just saying. I'll let you be my sponsor. Right lane ends, but everybody's crowding up there to the light. Because I gotta try to get as far ahead of the line as possible. If that brake was really hanging up bad, I wouldn't be able to creep forward with the truck in idle. Come on, move over. Traction tires advised if we're going up over the pass, but we're not going that far today. As we cross Woods Creek. Still getting that rattling noise. It's not a bad motor. Stay together, truck. Give me 10 years, please. On. It's one of the most dangerous roads in the state of Washington right here. They're supposed to put a divider down the center of this thing eventually. transmission, transfer case out. Sold that motor that was in this truck, I think, for $100 bucks. A friend of a friend. Basically, it's a rebuildable core. Transmission, you'll have to wait for the videos on that. Well, you've already seen the videos on that. Having it rebuilt, and then I don't think it was anything that Kevin's buddy did. I think it was probably us just not fully understanding how to set these transmissions up. But burning it up, just that little bit of driving around the yard that we did, fried this brand new transmission. And the trans shop said, yeah, it was basically just the line pressure wasn't set right. Fighting the front end on this thing and the brake issues. What else did we go through? It seemed like there were quite a few days where nothing we did went right. And I thought about ditching the project. I thought about just scrapping the whole thing. I went way over budget. Something I got to consider now. I told you when I bought this project that maybe I'd do a cost. Oh, there's my service engine soon light just popped back on. It's not running any different. Still charging. Good oil pressure. It's down to the 45 mark now instead of the 60. Good temperature. A little sensor that's not quite happy. Pull into the next town here and we'll shut it off and refire it. That seemed to clear the code yesterday. And it's nice that I put an LED bulb behind that service engine soon light, so it's nice and bright. Good thinking, Brian. That's not that bad. I'd rather have it highly visible than not even notice it. Nice Thursday afternoon drive though, eh? You know, next goal is get this thing just kind of fine-tuned, get some of the little bugs worked out of it, and we'll find some dirt. This does not have the locking rear differential. Open diffs front and rear. It is the 342 to 1 gear ratio, not the 373s. But I'm okay with that. That's why we added the more horsepower. I've also got the 32 by 1150 tires on it. But I'd like to see how this thing does in the dirt. I'm not going to do rock crawling and whatnot with it, but just fire service roads. Let's turn here and see where this road goes real quick. Go down all the ways. You see a park or something. Utilities. What's down this way? Yeah, we'll just use the gravel here. gonna shut her off for a second. The light went out, so let's start cruising on back, shall we? Oh, good truck. I was definitely worried when I was putting this thing together that everything was going to work copacetic, but especially with these, basically these freer flowing heads with the modified factory throttle body. Oop. She stalled out. It's done that before. Might just be a little vacuum leak or sensor going haywire. Or fine-tuning to do yet. Rocks from the tires. Had to kind of go deep into the throttle there to get it to downshift. Turn his headlights on, but he's got his cargo lights on. So what's that get us up to now? Yeah, we're 596 on the odometer. This will get us well over the 600. Well, not well, but get us up over the 600 mile on the odometer reading. 170, 600. Supposed to be wet today, tomorrow. I think Saturday and Sunday, just chance of showers last I saw. If it's not heavy rain, I may just go out this afternoon or tomorrow and just pull that wheel off. I know that those drums were a pain to get off. Actually, I think the wheels were kind of a pain to get off too. The way they fit around that, what I call it a center hub for the axle, they were a tight fit. most involved build I've ever done. This truck right here. The motor, the trans, and this is the most hot rod vehicle I've ever built. With the heads, the cam, the headers, that white pipe modification, throttle body modifications. But this project really taught me that as much as I enjoy tinkering with vehicles, I like driving them a lot more. However, still got that Oldsmobile that needs to be done. With Kevin working all this overtime, I haven't been heading out there at all. Has not come back on yet. I was talking earlier about the oil, doing an oil change. Hey, only 300 more miles till I get that oil change, get that break-in oil out of there. And, Kevin suggested that I buy, I think it's called racing oil or Summit racing oil. Hot rod oil, that's what it is, hot rod oil. It's got more of the zinc and the additives in it that they've been taking out of modern motor oil because the metals in the modern motors are changing, so they don't need as much of the additives, or they need different additives. Hot rod oil's got a lot of that stuff put back in it. Kind of like diesel oil, but even diesel oil, they've been taking a lot of that stuff out. Watched a few guys on YouTube that use diesel oil whenever they do an oil change on their older cars. But we'll buy couple of gallons of the hot rod oil. I'm pretty sure I haven't ordered any. I should probably go check the garage just to make sure. Start running that in this truck and the 84. Maybe even old Cletus if I decide to hang on to him and start doing stuff. I've had that truck, what, 4 years, and I've never changed oil in it. I don't know how old it was. I think he did an oil change on it before I bought it. Thing's still idling, just glass smooth. Just below 30 psi on the oil. Heard a Ford starter. Is that the truck behind me? Did he stall out? Big Super Duty flatbed behind us. But I think when I do the oil and filter change on this thing, I'm going to go ahead and throw a new fuel filter in it as well. We've already been through a couple of them. Just to make sure there's nothing left in the bottom of that tank. I cleaned it out pretty good, but it's surging again. It might be transmission related. At this point, I'm just going to drive it. gets worse, we'll take it back in. Sitting in traffic on January 2nd, 2020. $176.02. Should have at least 610, 615 on this. Gotta start racking up the miles. $3.49 a gallon for that's diesel. $3.19 for regular at 76. No, it just went no cash. $3.09. I was gonna say it just went down. She's acting like she wants to stall. Gives a couple of little shutters right there, like that. She's kind of hard to start, too. Needs a little bit of tuning yet. Does restart. Gotta hurry up, gotta pass everybody. I'm doing 40 and a 35, and he just had to pass me to get in line with everybody else. What's the point of that? Unless they're worried about my truck breaking down. What are your thoughts if you've hung out this long? What are your thoughts on the truck stalling out like that? Don't think it'd be a fuel boiling issue. shuttering yet. Idling nice and smooth. We've got a green light, so we'll be rolling here in just a sec. Oops, idling down. There's the shutter. I wonder if it isn't something with the torque converter? Trying to stall the motor out? The torque converter trying to engage? Don't know. Turned my lights back on and shut them off when I refired the truck the last time. I had the truck in neutral when it right after it stalled. Usually you can refire in neutral, but this one's got a lockout on it. You had to put it in park. Sound good though, doesn't it? Snohomish all the way to the 204 and then take the 204 up the hill. So y'all can hear this thing climbing the hill. Although I think I've got another driving video that you'll hear before this one. Still got a few videos to edit up. We're getting caught up. Like I said, I've got, well, In the video you'll see a week or two ago, I was talking about it. Got 7 or 8 videos uploaded now, scheduled. For me, they start being released tomorrow. For you, it's, you know, however long ago. The 3rd of January is when they'll start. This video is kind of setting up just to show the truck on the road and where we're at right now with it. Maybe this weekend I'll do a walk-around video to show you how it's currently sitting and the things we've done to it. Wipers are still working. Jumped on Highway 2 after fueling. This is going to be a long video. Probably well over an hour, huh? What are we at? Almost 50 minutes for this stretch. Might just be a couple hour upload. Kyle, if you're watching, I know you like the driving videos, the longer driving videos. We got another, well, at least 10 minutes till we get home, so 176.09.7 on the odometer. That's going to be just a little slow with these inch taller tires. This truck came from the factory with 31 by 10 50s. We got 32 by 11 50s on it. They don't seem to wander at all. A little bit wider rubber. I think it fits this truck just about right. There's the check engine light. Go to 2 lanes here. We'll see if the minivan tries to pass everybody again. It's our next exit. I didn't read the sign there. I think our next exit's Highway 9, but we're going to bypass that. Go. Stay away from the lights. Tesla. The rumble strips work in this truck too. Cool. The fan not blowing as much as it should. A little stalling issue. That right rear brake. Possibly a minor alignment. This thing goes down the road really well. Center, take hand off the wheel, pulls to the right just a hair. That could also even be just the slope of the road too. Now, overall, I am very pleased with this truck. Especially for sitting for 15 years before we got her rolling again. I do have a little bit of a pinion leak, or not a pinion leak, but the seal out of the transfer case is leaking. Have to look into sealing that up a little bit better. It's got a new seal in it, but it's just not quite right. It might just be the yoke end on the drive shaft, a little rusty. It's just letting some oil and whatnot through. I may have to replace that. Here's our exit. Get this thing up the hill, probably edit up this video, at least get the other one that I filmed that's going to be released today that I filmed today. You guys won't see this one, like I said, for a week or two. Then I'll probably go take this thing out and grab some lunch. For a big old truck. Tall gears and big tires. I kind of want this power level out of the 84 now. Climb that hill like a champion. Starting to get a little whiff of warm brake though. At least it's a cool day and the moisture on the road will help cool it off a little bit. Oh yeah, we're starting to smell her. That was enough of a drive. Hoping it doesn't start the shutter before this light goes green. Good deal. Does that get us 176, 16.4, almost 0.5 right now. So that's a good little run. Where were we at? 78 when we started? Good. 30, almost 40 mile drive. Get it in the driveway, shut the motor off, refire it just to see if that service engine soon light goes back out, which it probably will. I've always liked these throttle body motors when you're just lightly on the throttle like this. I like that sound. The high RPM is fun, but just something about that sound right there. Gets the old octanes flowing, you know what I mean? Let's back her in. Yes, sir, put together a good truck. Lights off, wipers off. Light went out. Started easier too. So something's just not quite right on. The windows are up. Some sensor, some error fuel issue going on there. So, hey, thanks for riding along. There's your latest and greatest Jimmy update. I gotta get all this cat food, get this cat food inside, do some video editing, and then go find some lunch. Tomorrow's gonna be teriyaki, but we'll go for another drive maybe tomorrow. Maybe not quite as long with that brake dragging like it is, but I don't know, maybe we'll get a dry spell this afternoon yet. We can go pop that wheel off and just adjust it. But thanks for tagging along. Thanks for staying tuned if you're still here for this long video. We'll catch y'all in the next one. Y'all be good. Bye-bye.